And can we have Jerome Bruhm come to the stage, please? Jerome Bruhm can stand at the start line of any road race today and watch hundreds of runners pass him. They might not salute him, might not even know who he is, for Jerome Bruhm has always stayed in the background. But this man from Mahone Bay must be honored, for without his drive, determination, and spirit, each and every road runner in this province might not be able to run the 5K or 10K or the marathon races they do. 20 years ago, Jerome spearheaded the creation of Run Nova Scotia. There were 35 members. Today, paid membership in Run Nova Scotia is more than 500. But anyone who watches these dedicated athletes compete in events and sees the thousands of runners pace city streets and country roads knows Jerome Bruhm has had an influence on all of them. Let us hear from Gordon Warnica, a runner and great friend of Jerome, who describes his attention to detail.
He's just taken it. He gave us the professionalism that we lacked. The rest of Canada still hasn't even caught up to us. And we have this joke that Jerome, I don't know whether Jerome's even heard it or not, but there's really two ways of doing things. There's Jerome's way and there's perfect. And perfect isn't good enough. Jerome's way is always just a little bit better. He dots the I's and crosses the T's, and it's a round dot and it's a straight flat line on the T.
When he first got involved, that was well said. Thank you, Gordon. We appreciate that. When he first got involved, there was no organization for road running, primarily because the provincial track and field coordinator didn't have enough time. And 20 years ago, the majority of runners in the province were from the Halifax area. Jerome feels proud to have been part of the force that spread the word far and wide. He says, "My biggest claim to fame, I think, is introducing running to the recreational runner." Mark Stein is another runner and friend of Jerome who had this to say.
Jerome's dad was a great runner, and also Jerome in his time was a good runner. His time's now a little slower, but I've got to tell you quickly that his quick wit and humor have gotten better and faster as his running times have got a little slower. But running is something that Jerome has always enjoyed.
Jerome also concentrated on recognizing that females wanted to improve their fitness and run, some recreationally and many competitively. He was aghast that male race winners would receive awards far exceeding those of women. Jerome says one of the most satisfying things he's done is to equalize men and women in races. Bruhm has been inducted in the Canadian Road Racing Hall of Fame, only the second Nova Scotian at that time, along with Johnny Miles, to be so honored. He always said he should have run more himself, but he was always too busy finding sponsors, encouraging organizers, generating prizes, urging runners. His dream would be to see 500 runners at every race, and he knows there are enough runners out there. But he did create awareness for the recreational runner. He says many people will say they don't run the races because they're not racers. They're runners. They feel intimidated because it's a race. But Jerome says, I'd like to see everybody running in the road races instead of being intimidated. He has always also concentrated on praising his volunteers. And here is runner Greg McDonald with his thoughts.
He sends little notes to people, little thank you notes, little cards after races, after events. And you wouldn't, most people don't expect it, but Jerome thrives on that.
Many would call Jerome Bruhm the father of road racing in Nova Scotia, and they'd probably be right. Without his dream 20 years ago, and without his drive to see it through, runners would be runners, not racers, and Coach Potatoes would not have risen from their seats to become runners. From all of those who are fit, and for those who may have the inclination to be so, a special thank you to Jerome Bruhm, our newest member of the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame. I'd like to call our presenters to the stage to present the certificate. Melissa Sinclair, the Program Marketing Coordinator from CBC. To present the pin is a longtime friend of Jerome Bruhm, Bob Brake. All right, Jerome, let's step forward here just a bit. Of all the sports in the world to dedicate yourself to, you chose running. And I'm curious, and I'm sure a lot of people are. Nobody we spoke to, like Gordon or Greg or whomever, could really articulate. They said, you'll have to ask Jerome, why running?
Well, it wasn't because I'm a great runner. I have any talent at it. I was 30 years old, fat and ugly. And I took it up for fitness reasons. But,
You're no longer fat.
oh, good. I'm getting there, though.
I'm sorry, it was there.
Yeah. But I just wanted to say that it's been in my heart since my birth. It's kind of a strange thing to say, but my father was a great road runner back in the 1930s and 40s. One of the best in the province. He died when he was 30 years old. And I was an infant. I was 6 months old when he died, so I really didn't get to know him at all. But my mother always told us stories about him, and I always had his scrapbook that I could look in, and that impressed me a lot. And it didn't impress me so much. He didn't always win his races, but he was always there. He was always trying, always doing his best, and he was respected by all the other runners in the field. So I guess I moved on from that, and I just think that to be proud to be here tonight, to see me here, as my mother would be as well.
I'm sure, no question. Now, what about everybody we spoke to said you are a logistical master? You dot those I's and you cross those T's, and how do you see yourself?
Stubborn. That's about it.
Is that right? Jerome's way or the highway, perhaps?
No. Not that hard.
No. What about your love of what volunteers do? Greg told us about always sending little notes and stuff. I know you love to delegate and you love it when people do a good job. How does that fill you up?
Well, first of all, let me just say that I'm up here tonight because of the volunteers. It's nothing I did on my own. They were with me every step of the way. I want to thank my family, my wife Gail, and 2 sons, John and Adrian. All the runners in the running community, particularly the Gonzo Adventure Club, they're up there somewhere. All the race directors and the volunteers and the sponsors as well, because they've helped along the way, and it's been a lot of fun with them.
Yeah. Well, it's great to have you here. You're a new welcome member, and great to have you. And I know people here just are thrilled for you tonight, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Jerome Bruhm, ladies and gentlemen.